You know, it's a learned behavior. And we also, the other thing that we did really successfully, that you all know, is that we all relinquished power to experts. So experts take care of energy. You know, we really don't know anything about that. You know, and who's going to solve the world's food problems? Well, let's just let Monsanto do that one, because they really know what they're doing. You know, that's where we got to. We got to be people who are consumers. You know, we're all a bunch of consumers, and we believe that we don't know how to handle that stuff. And thank God we have those experts, and the medical establishment are other great experts, right? You know, and so in that whole process, look where we got. Fabulous. You know, we're dependent and sick, largely. Mm-hmm. So, you know, you guys are a very educated bunch, but, you know, I mean, by and large, I mean, you know, I've got a liberal arts education too. I mean, and by the time you're done with your liberal arts education, you can discuss a lot of things, but you really can't do shit. You know, you don't know much about wind turbines. You don't know how to fix a car, and you don't know how to grow your own damn food. I mean, not to belabor, but the point is that we're critical thinkers, but you actually got to be able to do something. And you know, anyway, wow.
When you try to implement these self-reliance strategies within communities, what's the main point of resistance?
You know, the communities I work generally, the first, you know, it's interesting because I was talking to these youth, and you saw this, is this belief that you can't do it because they didn't tell you could do it. Like, I work in communities that have been told that, you know, we are not smart, and they are right, and they are going to win anyway. And you know, they have a better plan, really. And we don't want to be those Indians that we used to be. Literally. You know, and so what you got to do, in my strategy of organizing, people say, what's your strategy? Is like, we call it organizing by example. You just go do it. You do it, and then they say, well, how'd you do that? I'm like, oh, you know. And then the next thing you know, like my tribal government, so I live on a big reserve. It's kind of like a Six Nations reserve. So there's it's 867,000 acres of land, right? And in that we have, most of the land is not owned by our tribe, but we have quite a bit. We have 25,000 tribal members. My tribal government is not particularly progressive. And I'm, you know, as you've just hung out with, you can imagine that I'm like, you know, the crazy woman to the council half the time. Like, oh gosh, here she comes. But then I laugh because first they say, you know, we used to think you're crazy, now we see you're right. But the tribal chair wouldn't say that. You know, she's very competitive with me, which is the most stupid thing I ever heard. But, you know, then we put up the wind turbine and then they have to put up a bigger one. I'm like, there you go. Use all that dysfunctional stuff and just make it bigger, you know? And then we started growing our foods out. I grow really cool corn varieties out and, you know, other local food. And now they want to do a farm to cafeteria program for their elders and their tribal programs. And we're the only people growing. You know, so they're like, okay, you know, so it takes, so what I'm saying is that sometimes you gotta start and just do it and keep at it and they'll make fun of you. It's like, you know, Gandhi used to say, it's like they laugh at you, they fight you, whatever, and then, you know, pretty much you win. And so, you know, I find that that's a very good strategy. And then the other thing is that, I mean, you guys are, you know, private organizers, and you know, I don't know what I'm gonna tell people tonight, but the other thing is like, you know, I don't say keep your word. You know, do your best to keep your word. You know, I work really hard. I've raised 6 kids. You know, they aren't all mine, and I just got another, you know, so I got 6 now. I was like, I guess that's what the Creator wanted me to have. And I, you know, live in my community. People see me. You know, I go travel around, whatever. But people, you know, and then I went on Facebook, which was a great and very interesting thing about 4 months ago, because people like, you know, ask me things, and you know, I feel like but what am I trying to say in this is that if you've got the public trust, try to keep your word. You know what I'm saying? Is that we need to be people that you know, don't give up. Be those people, don't give up. You know, someone has to be those people, and then more people are inspired to be those people. You know, if they see that, and you know, keep at it and be smart and be funny. I mean, you know, because we're way cooler than they are anyway.
Yeah.
No, I completely agree. One of my favorite quotes is that, you know, when you create a ripple, when you drop a rock in a pond, you create a ripple, and it inspires other people to drop their rocks in the pond and create other ripples, and soon you're creating a wave, right? So, very, very true words what you're saying. So just I did a law degree, unfortunately.
It's okay.
You made a choice not to. So I did a law degree in UBC, and you know, there's so many great stories that I do have a chance to hear through my work at the Davis Suzuki Foundation or through environmental law about this perception of Aboriginal communities and what they're like, and hearing more and more stories of all the good work and all the social innovation, if you want to call it, that is happening. How can we start to showcase more of those? Because I think there's innovation. There's always been a rich tradition and history and knowledge within your culture, but how can we support you to showcase that as well? Because I think social media is key for that.
Well, social media and also the legal profession is really important. So for instance, you know, the vast majority of legal work in the Indigenous communities or Aboriginal communities, First Nations communities is largely defending our communities against bad shit, right?
Yeah.
Let's just be honest, that's where we're at, right? You know, which absolutely is essential. The other side of it though is that, you know, we are communities that we need to exercise our sovereignty. So for instance, my tribe, I want them to enact a tribal food code, right? They're looking at one that was written by Maine, the state of Maine, which has a pretty progressive food code. They have like a lot of organic farms and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, that's good, but it doesn't have the same origin. You know, our food came, you know, not from an organic farm. Our food came from the bush. And then the corn was given to us by, you know, a long time ago. We grew all these corn varieties out. And so, you know, our code has to reflect who we are. And then that's where it comes from. And then you have the more specific, you know, elements of, for instance, why your seeds should not be genetically engineered. You know, if it's a part of your or, you know, you know, if it's a part of your history. You know, your seeds are cosmogenealogy is like some, you know, as you probably know, like some people like descended with corn. You know what I'm saying? So it's not just like we don't like GMOs. It's like it violates our sacredness, right? Yeah. And that has to be part of these codes. You know, so that's what I look at a lot, is how you build and codify systems so that tribal sovereignty means something. You know, and my theory on this is that you use it or you lose it. You know, and we need to exercise, we need tribal food codes now. And then an interesting case, I give those youth, they took my cool posters, but anyway, I'll have some more posters tonight. We're looking at this issue of the wolf. In northern Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Michigan, the wolf is the largest wolf range in our, you know, it's one of the wolf has just been delisted off the endangered species list, right? In the United States. And it was contemporaneous with the push for new mines. You know, so you knock the wolf out and you don't have an endangered species in your mining zone, essentially as part of what happened, right? I mean, you know, and I'm sure that it was related. You know, it's kind of like, you know, whatever. But our tribe, you know, after some deliberation, you know, which I shouldn't even mention, but, you know, it's like some stupidity for a moment, and then someone smacked them upside the head, said, don't delist. And in fact, we'll create a wolf sanctuary. And so now the majority of the Ojibway tribes in our region are not delisting. And so then that provides, you know, so we don't have an endangered species code for our tribes. You know, but we need that. You know what I'm saying? And then we need to go toe to toe with the feds and say, you know what, you're going to delist, but our treaty rights say we don't have to, you know, we keep it like this, so, you know, so, but the season is starting starting next week, I think, in some of those places. So this will be interesting. But my tribe said, you hunt on our reservation, we cite you, we seize your wolf, we seize your gun. You know, because non-Indians could come into our territory. And we're saying that's not going to happen up here. And you know, interestingly enough, when I drove here, I mean, I've been deliberating on these things, but this is how I am and how I believe. Because we have a lot of ceremonies in this, but when I came here, I saw a wolf on the way. And they're very sparse. I haven't seen wolf. I saw a wolf one time about 3 years ago, no, 5, 6 years ago, and I saw a wolf last week, and I saw a wolf this morning, at 4 a.m., driving, you know, he just crossed the road in front of me, and I saw one playing in a field on Tuesday, right after I left to that mining meeting. In that community, smack dab looking at Rio Tinto zinc all around them, big mining operation they want to start, Keweenaw Bay, and every other 640-acre parcel, the mineral rights are held by Rio Tinto zinc. And you know, that community asked me to go up and talk to them, and I said, you know, one of the things you got to do is not delist the wolf. They said, we just do that. I said, and then, you know, but, so what I'm saying is that using, you know, restoring and strengthening tribal legal systems,
yeah,
important strategy.
And just as